who saves my butt. Uh, our guest is Adrian Chenault, but before we get to Adrian, I want to remind everybody to go up to that donation button on the website revolution.radio, the top upper left tab. You can make your one-time donation, and the Patreon, I think, is in the middle. You can make your recurring donation. And we want to thank you very much for your donations. You allow us to have these shows. We have a lot of fun with you. You guys, I hope, have a lot of fun with us. We enjoy bringing you all these incredible people. So I'll tell you a little bit about Adrian, but I'm not going to read it because that's boring. When Adrian comes on, we're going to talk about contact mapping. We had Adrian's father, Tom, on, I guess, about 6 months ago. And Adrian has, so his dad pioneered this technology, but Adrian has taken the principles and he's infused new technology to make it easy for people in the betting industry to achieve greater success and connection in their lives. So this is a father-son team, but we get Adrian today, and he's going to tell us about himself, how he got involved with this, and what we can do with contact mapping, and how it's going to take us, I don't know, you'll have to tell us all the benefits of what contact mapping will do for us individually and collectively. What would you like to say, Sasha, before we bring on Adrian?
Well, I don't know what contact mapping is, but the little charts certainly remind me in psychotherapy of what we call sociograms, and where in all different ways of people moving their bodies, and it's also very much like the downline kind of things for multi-marketing. And last week we interviewed somebody who applied all these kind of principles to human relations, and the result was beautiful. And I'm not sure what you do, but it looks like the same stuff.
So, Adrian, welcome to our show, and tell us about yourself and how you got into this.
Fantastic. Thank you both so much for having me. It's an honor to get to join you on the show today. And, it's such a powerful, Dr. Sasha, what you were just sharing a second ago, it's such a powerful thing to be able to have all of these connections and all of these relationships that we have made all throughout our lives. And so much of it is like sand that shifts through our fingers, and it just passes us by. And what contact mapping is really about is giving our community a way to actually take those connections and place them someplace where you have an ability to refer back to them, where you have an easy way to be able to keep up with your connections over months and years and decades, and to create opportunities that are for not just yourself, but for everybody around you through your ability to remain connected to that wider network. And so as you said, it's my father and I who started this company together. He's really living proof of those principles becoming something that's incredibly powerful and fruitful from a business perspective. And we joined forces a couple of years ago to turn that into a piece of software that would allow anybody to have that at their fingertips.
So this is it an app for your phone? Is it on your Mac or PC? What forms does it come in?
Yeah, so it's primarily an app for your phone. So it's both for Apple or for Android. You can download the app on your phone. And one of the things that's really cool about it is that it integrates with the contacts that are already in your phone. So instead of having this completely blank slate and you just download this thing and you've got to start from scratch, it is built on top of what you already have. And it just gives you this opportunity to start using your voice to remember a few things about every conversation and interaction you're having in your world. And as you begin doing that, you're setting follow-ups. You're saying, I'm going to call Sasha every 3 months or whatever that is, to be able to maintain that relationship over a period of time. But it makes it so that you're effectively able to Google your own memory, because, all of a sudden I'm going, I need somebody. I have a friend who is, wanting to get to go study anthropology. Who do I know that has a background in anthropology? And so I punch anthropology into my phone, and up is going to pop Dr. Sasha in UCLA, and all these sort of connection points where you are able to create these connections all around you. And as you do that, you increase your own value and you increase the number of opportunities that are going to come to you. So it kind of has this karmic loop to it that is a beautiful thing, because it allows you to serve others in a bigger way, and it brings more opportunity back to you.
So how does all that information on anthropology from all the different people get into the system initially? Or do I have to say somewhere in time, this is an anthropologist?
Yeah, so it's based on your own personal notes. It's like your own personal diary. So whenever, as somebody who treats my contacts very seriously, part of my process is when I'm obviously doing a show like this, or when I'm going to meet with a new potential partner, I'll go and I'll actually do a bit of background research on that person before, and I can either copy and paste that into my app, or I can, grab the couple of things that I think are important and dictate those into my app. And so then I have those, and then from there it starts to accumulate more of those personal details that aren't available on someone's LinkedIn profile or whatever, and really are, oftentimes the most important thing about them, their dog's name, or what's happening with their children, or, some interesting story. And those are the things that really become the basis for forming a deeper bond that is, beyond just what's out there available in the public sphere.
So if I'm like at a trade show or a conference or something, and I meet someone, I can just press and say, here's Joe Thomas, and he's a presenter, and his specialty is blah, blah, blah. So I could get their card and just speak it into the app. Try to demonstrate how I would do live.
Yeah,
what would it do?
It has a find function for keywords, right?
Yeah, let me answer the question.
Yeah, that's so both very well said. So imagine, someday we're allowed to go and be at a conference together in person again, and we're walking around the conference hall, and we're meeting all these great new people and having all these conversations. And so, I just met this new person. We're having a conversation, and at the end of that, I go, you know what? I want to stay in touch. So the first thing I do is I actually ask them if they'll take a photo with me, and I will take a selfie photo with them in that moment, because it's so powerful to capture. I want to remember you exactly in this moment. I want to remember that we were at this conference, and all of that sort of memory gets packed into that little image. So I take a photo with you. I grab your contact information either by getting your business card, or I get your email, or whatever it is, and I save that in my phone, and it immediately pops up and it says, what do I know about this person? And I hit that microphone button and I say they're a veterinarian. They, studied rare diseases in animals, whatever it is. I speak the couple of things I want to remember about that person into my notes. And then I save that, and it immediately pops up and it says, when are you going to follow up with this person? And you can pick from a couple of different options, or you can set a custom date, whatever you want to do. Or in some cases you can say not needed, right? So like a server at a restaurant, for example, I love learning their stories, but I'm not going to set a follow-up. I'll look up that restaurant the next time I'm there. And so that all flows in a process. And so now they're in my system, and 6 months from now or 3 months from now, they're going to pop up, and it's going to say, time to follow back up with that person. And no joke, half the time I go, I don't know who that person is. And so I pop up my phone and I go, oh my gosh, that's right, they were the person who did this. And I can reach out to them and just say, hey, I really just was thinking about you today. I really enjoyed meeting you at such and such conference. Been a little while. What's new, or whatever it is. And so you're just maintaining that relationship. And so that's kind of the flow. But then meanwhile, you now have this searchable database. And so now, maybe it's 6 months until we're supposed to talk, but in 2 months, something comes up and I go, oh, who was that person? I need a vet in San Francisco, and I put veterinarian in San Francisco, and up pops this person's name, and I can connect that way. And so you have both the process to stay in touch, but also this searchable database that is like a living, breathing version of the old school Rolodex, kind of on steroids.
Wow, way cool.
Question?
No, I love it.
Okay, I have a question.
Me too.
I have my phone. I have 3 phones, so I have information on 3 different phones. How would I get that onto one my app in one place?
So we're working on a multi-device way of doing contact mapping. To be totally honest with you right now, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And the reason why that's the case is we really wanted to make it so that it's tightly tied into your contacts in your phone. And so if you have 3 different phones with 3 sets of contacts, it kind of that relationship breaks down. So we're working on an update that's going to allow people to have that multi-device, because some people have multiple phones. But Sasha, you mentioned earlier on people in multi-level marketing. That's a big area for us, and there's a lot of husband and wife couples, for example, that they want to be able to share an account between them. So we're working towards that. But another thing that would potentially solve that problem is maybe you say, okay, I'm going to put the app on one phone. And then another thing that we offer is a Chrome extension, a Chrome browser extension, where you can use it across different laptop devices or desktop devices or whatever. And so maybe it's, it lives on one of my phones and then I can use it on my computer. And so we have a few people that are kind of doing multi-device that way, to help solve that problem.
How does this tie into your email? You said so it's just going to look for what I have on my phone, or is it based on my email? I mean, I'm confused because I have a lot of people I've kind of met electronically on email, and I would want to pull them into my contact mapping. That's one way I meet people. I meet people on my social networks and Facebook. I don't want everybody I meet, but there might be certain people I want to, especially like doing this radio show. I get confused. It's great to keep track of. I interviewed Adrian on this date, and maybe want to touch base this time again in 6 months or something, because I like to revisit people I've talked to. I'm just this is just striking my imagination. So go ahead, tell me more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have number one, we have incredible customer service. That's one of the things that I am really proud of that we have created. And so, one of the things that I would love to actually have you do at some point, if you'd like to, is we actually do a one-on-one consultation for our premium members, where we will give you a 45-minute consultation with our VIP onboarding trainer, and she helps you to customize and to bring all that stuff in. And so if you're like, hey, I have these things in email, I want to be able to bring that in here, and how do I do it with Facebook? We have a Facebook integration, so we can show you how to bring that in. And so we're really good at helping people to morph what they do, and bring all the pieces that they need together inside of contact mapping, because that's what we want. We want this to be that sort of centralized hub of this is like the most important record of all of my contacts that I care about and the details about those contacts.
So when I came home from conferences, I would grab cards, and then I've always intended to.
They're all in the drawer. They're stacked up on your desk, or it's a nightmare, right?
It's a nightmare. Now what? Is there anything I can scan them in somehow, or buy all the equipment? Just help me get this organized.
Of course you can scan it and you can turn it into. Of course you can.
Yeah, I guess I could scan it first into my computer, or maybe just how would the average person do it?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question. So I get business cards all the time. I scan them into my contacts. They immediately come into contact mapping, and then as soon as I do that, it pops up and it prompts me to put my note on that person. And so, that stack of people, unfortunately, a lot of those people are missed opportunities, because you don't really remember who they are anymore, other than what happens to be written on the outside of that card. But I am a machine at doing that exact thing, and it's so easy, because it's like snap a picture, it pulls in all the contact info, so I don't have to type any names or phone numbers or any of that junk. I hit done, it pops up in my contact mapping, I speak, and so I don't have to type anything. I've got it out of my head, and now that person's there forever. And I send them a nice email to say, hey, it was great meeting you today. Let's stay in touch. Here's what I'm up to, or here's something that might help your business. And people go crazy, because everybody else is exactly like that, right? They get all these business cards. It's all a total waste, because nobody ever actually calls you, even though you gave them the business card, and it's just insanity. And so it becomes so easy to be the person who really stands out, because you actually have a simple system that does not overwhelm you, that you can actually stay in touch with these people.
So in the contact mapping app, I can
Mm-hmm.
take a picture of my business card, and it
There's
goes
a
into the system.
Yeah, there's a free app out there called CamCard that we work with. And so you'll use CamCard to snap the photo of the contact. It'll save to your contact on your phone, and it'll go
CamCard.
right into, yeah, CamCard, all one word.
Okay, CamCard.
Yep, CAM like camera, abbreviated card.
Okay, I'm putting it on the site to scan.
Oh, that's critical, yeah.
And business cards. Okay.
Yeah, and they will try to trick you into paying for their subscription. You do not need to pay them any money, so just do the free one.
Free one. Okay, I'm going to put that right here. Do the free one.
All right, good.
We're helping people right now.
That's right. Amen.
Because we're all stuck down with COVID, and we need to do businesses from home. I have dozens of friends, and we're all going, now what? How do we do reality now? So this type of tool will really help us get organized. And wow. So what else does it do? I'm getting chills. This is exciting. What else does it do?
Thank you. Yeah. So what we learned, the app came out about 2.5 years ago. So we've been out in the market for a little while now. And one of the major things that we learned is that the tool itself is incredibly important and incredibly powerful, but that really the magic happens when we are helping our members to transform their habits, to create the new types of habits that they need to actually stay with a process of keeping up with their contacts and their network. And the most powerful way that we have found to do that is in community. And so as part of the premium subscription for contact mapping, what you get is access to this exclusive community where we have a Monday morning goal setting weekly launch conference call over Zoom. And people set their goals and share, and we have a training that's a part of that. And then on every Friday, we have a weekly retrospective, and we have like an office hours where people can ask questions about, I'm trying to develop a relationship with this person, or I'm trying to kind of move this conversation towards a close. What should I do? And we mastermind around that, and people reflect back on their wins and their challenges from the week. And so we're creating this environment where there's sort of a tribe for you to plug into and to create those habits so that you really are developing those new muscles to get the most out of your network. Because fundamentally, I've seen it happen in my dad's life and in the life of so many others, that you can generate all the opportunity, you can generate all the business you need in your life out of just your network if you learn how to treat your network the right way.
So once again, I have 3 phones, and sometimes when I'm traveling, like one will run out of juice, so I'll just pick up the next one. If I put contact mapping on all 3 phones, can I use any of the
Network.
3 phones? Yeah, it'll pull it up based on my account, no matter which application I'm using. Am I understanding that?
Not yet is the answer to that. So I'd love to understand. So what purpose do the 3 phones serve? Or is one for business and one's for a different business and one's for personal, or what? Why have 3 phones?
Because I'm in a conference, and they don't have a power because they put me in the middle of the room. I didn't get a wall slot, so I ran out of power. So I just switched to the other phone. I put the
hotspot.
I put I'm talking about electric, because the phones. I have 3 iPhones, so I stick another one up in the hotel room while it charges, while I bring down the old one that was on the charger, and I keep rotating now. One belongs to my husband, so we each have a phone so we can talk to each other. But then when I'm maintaining a booth, I don't always get the spot with electricity to plug in and I don't always remember to bring those little bags. Yeah, so
gotcha. So you can be logged in on one phone at a time, So probably in your situation, it would actually work where you could, when you switch over to that phone, you log into the next phone, and because the contact lists are the same across those three phones, because you're backing up to the same Google account or whatever it is that you're using, probably that would work. But
Right.
we could definitely, I can connect you with our trainer, and we can look at your specific situation to make sure that's going to work for you. But yeah, I think that in that scenario, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, Sasha, question.
No.
Okay, Deborah, do you have a question? I don't want to leave anybody out.
I do. And man, Adrian, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I am a data privacy freak, right?
Good. That's not a rain on my parade. That's joy for my parade.
I have very few apps on my phone. I don't give any app a connection to my contacts, so they can't be spammed and no craziness can go on. And I detest Google and Facebook because of what they do with our data. So the information that your app processes is very personal on a very deep level. What are the protections there?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question, and I'm so glad that you are somebody who's paying attention to this stuff, because it's really, really important. And you are 100% right that some people would say I'm more in the camp of Google and Facebook are kind of a necessary evil, but they're an evil nevertheless when it comes to the way that they are treating our data. And so contact mapping does require access to your contacts in order to make what we do work. But we are incredibly data privacy focused in everything that we do. And you can, if you go to contactmapping.com/privacy, you can read our full privacy policy and everything that is in there. But the gist of it is we believe your contacts are your most valuable asset. And so as such, we treat them that way. They belong only to you. We do not run any data processing sort of stuff where we're running advertising at those. We don't share to third parties. There's no master, profile of contacts that is intermixing data that was provided by different users. So every user's data is a walled garden. And so everything that we do is about that exact thing, that you need to have a forever database that belongs only to you, and you need to treat it as your most valuable asset, because that's what it is. And so our privacy policies reflect that.
Okay, so that being said, how are you making your money off the app?
Subscription. So
okay.
So we have a freemium model. So there's a free version of the app that has no credit card required, not ad supported, there's no junk. It's just we subsidize the free version through the paid version. So you have a free version that you can use, no credit card required, that is basically just the app. So you don't get access to that premium community. You don't get access to that sort of one-on-one support that we provide, but you've got a great app that you can use, and you can go and really experience what we're about. And then the premium version is $29.99 a month or $299 a year. And with that, you get premium features. So you get an integration with Facebook Messenger. You're getting an integration coming very soon with LinkedIn. You get that Chrome extension to use it on your computer. And then you get access to this premium community. And so that's where we make the money, because we don't want to have to do all that data stuff that the Googles and Facebooks of the world are doing to earn their money, because that's not going to work. So, if in the case of Facebook, there is no way to pay them money, that means you are the product, and that's not how we want to run our business.
So what's the difference in terms of quality of this process from the free version to the premium version?
So the features of the app itself on the phone are pretty similar. There's no like limits to number of contacts or anything like that. But when you get into the premium side of things, you get that integration with Facebook, so that you're able to, as Janet was talking about, a lot of the interactions that she has with people for their show and everything else are through Facebook. So we make it really easy for you to, in Facebook Messenger, literally one click, and you can capture the notes from that Facebook Messenger conversation into your contact mapping. So it's a really easy way to do that. And like I said, we're getting ready to do that same thing with LinkedIn. So it gives you that. It gives you this Chrome extension to be able to use on your computer. And eventually it'll be a full desktop version through a web portal that you'll be able to have only for the premium side of things. So you'll get two different, computer and the app side of things. And then this training and accountability community that we've created is really incredible, and it really is transformative. And so those are the differences of the experience that you step up to when you upgrade to that premium level.
Okay, got you. Okay, I hand the baton off to the lessons.
So tell me about all of the features. I'm trying to get into it while we're talking, so I'm more of a visual learner. But this is a audio system, so tell us like the whole list of what features are in this.
Yeah, so what it really is it is the relationship layer that sits on top of your contacts, whether that be in your phone or on your computer. And so every new person that I meet, when I create that new contact in my phone, it's like a little gentle coach showing me the things that I should do. So I just saved this new person as a contact in my phone. It immediately pops up. It says, what do you know about that person? And it prompts me to put that note. And then I save that note and it says, when are you going to follow up? And so it prompts me to follow up. And then each day I'm getting a notification in the morning saying, hey, here's who you need to follow up with today. And so it becomes this sort of accountability partner for me to know how to treat my network as a professional, whether I'm in network marketing, which a lot of our users are, whether I'm, hosting a radio show and I want to be more effective in sourcing guests and staying in touch with those guests after the fact, that I have a system that helps me to stay structured and to remember when it's time to stay in touch with people. And then as I have done that, I now have this searchable database to be able to Google my memory. And so I have, I just had this happen the other day. I remembered that some friend of mine had introduced me to a company that does a really cool specialized version of videos that you can post on social media that have these really cool kind of burned in captions. And I could not remember the name of the guy who I met. I couldn't remember the name of his company. I was doing all these searching and I finally went, oh my gosh, well, it was because I met him through so-and-so. And so I looked up that guy. And in addition to finding his contact, I found in my notes, oh yeah, that's right, Jacob introduced me to this other guy. And so it just gives you this ability to never kind of lose the thread, because a lot of times what happens is we don't remember someone's name. Maybe we don't remember the name of their company, but we'll remember some, anecdote that they shared with us. And so if we become skilled at capturing those notes from the conversation, then you have all these sort of mental, toeholds and handholds for you to get back to any different person within your network to, try to find a resource for a deal that you're trying to put together or another prospect or whatever it is. And so it brings to life your network because of your ability to see all of the sort of interconnections that exist within it.
So if I meet someone and I want to note that they are from, Austin, Texas. Oh, crap.
Oh, it's Austin, Texas calling.
No, it's Klein. Sorry, I forgot to shut off my phone. I actually had it on because I was adding contact mapping. Okay, so I meet someone and I want to put down that they were from Austin, Texas. I met him at the UFO conference in 2018. That they are a dog catcher, whatever their occupation is. Does the contact? I'm used to databases because years ago I studied computer programming, so I've been doing this since the 80s, right, 70s. So we're used to having fields. So if I would say Austin, Texas, the database would put it in the location field. If I said occupation, we'll put it there. I'll put their website down, right? Does contact mapping have that ability to put these in certain fields, Does it matter? Tell us how that works, because I'm having difficulty.
Can you arrange your menus and sub-menus? That's all it comes
Well, I don't know how it's organized. I'm asking.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
I love that your background is in this, and that's a great question. So you have this eternal trade-off between essentially structured versus unstructured data is what you're talking about. And the beauty of structured data is that it's structured, and so it's easier to organize and to work your way through. But the not great part about structured data is that people loathe completing fields in forms. And so what we have done with contact mapping is we have gone the route of some light structure, but mostly unstructured data with extremely robust search. Because what I find is that most of the time, Austin means Austin, Texas, and I don't need it to have been in the field city to find somebody by searching for Austin in order for me to be able to find them. So most of what we do is based on that unstructured text that is just extremely searchable. But what we do train people on how to do is to add tags. And so you can add hashtags. So for example, I could say hashtag Austin for someone who lives in Austin, if I was choosing to do it that way, versus if I met someone in Austin, but they don't live in Austin, maybe I would choose not to put that hashtag there so that I can more easily sort out. There's more signal when you have chosen to apply the tag to somebody versus not. And so we give you those sort of two layers of doing it, but what we have found through our own experience, because we're some of our most active customers and users ourselves, is that search has become so effective that the benefit of the search outweighs the lack of structure in that data.
Fascinating. Okay. Now, I wish I had this up, but I can't do both. So what do you want our listeners to know about you? How did you get doing this? I mean, of all the things you could do in the world.
Well, underneath it's got to be your relationship with your dad, obviously.
Yes.